Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Journey Hotline, a series of interviews conducted by the Gavel Club of the University of Colombo, where great minds think out loud. I am Pumali Samarakon, and today we are going to be in conversation with an individual who has great perspective on life because she is always looking up. She is multi-talented and passionate with a plethora of awards and achievements under her belt. Today, she will be taking us on the roller coaster ride of her experiences. So buckle up for plenty of fun, inspiration, and laughter. So without further ado, please let me introduce Ms.Ramalka Kasige. Hello, Ramalka. How are you doing these days?
Well, Pumali, I'm doing pretty good. But as you said, enjoying the roller coaster ride of life.
It's great to listen that you are doing good, and we are pleased to have you on the show, and we have a lot of fun things planned for you today. Are you ready to get started?
Yes, I'm really excited to be a part of this. Let's go ahead.
Okay. Well, Ramalka, to start off, I'm curious, like writing and speaking are two forms of expressing oneself, and you're pretty famous for both blogging and public speaking. Tell us, which do you prefer personally the most?
Well, quite interesting question, Pumali, but let me say it like this now. I personally prefer both because if I recall my school days, I started doing public speaking, or well, I would say comparing when I was in grade 3. I still can remember when I was given a script by my class teacher to compare at the independence celebrations at my school. My school is Bishop's College. So that was my start for public speaking. And when it comes to writing, even I go back to my school days where I got a chance to write to our annual school magazine. That was in grade 4. And since then, I was continuing my public speaking and writing throughout my school career and during my A-level times and the last few years at school. It was, I would like to call it one of my golden eras, one of the golden times of public speaking, where I got the first place consecutively for impromptu speaking, 3 years consecutively. So with that, I came to university, and there also I wanted to continue writing and public speaking. So I chose FOSS Media and the Gavel Club of University of Colombo to improve my skills, and blogging was introduced by FOSS Media to me, and that experience and exposure made me the writer and the freelance journalist who I am today, talking in front of you. And how can I forget Gavel Club of University of Colombo, where I was molded to become a good public speaker, and Gavel Club of University of Colombo took me in the journey to become the winner of Oration 2020 finally. So with those things, I would like to say I love both blogging or writing and public speaking very much.
Well, there's no doubt in that answer because the achievements you have gained from both those fields are immense. While Ramalka gives great answers to the questions prepped by our crew, let's move on to the next question. The next is, can you tell us some circumstances to best express our thoughts through writing or by speech?
Well, for that question, of course, I would say there's no such situation or occasion that you can best express your thoughts. Whenever there is a need, you need to express your thoughts, no matter in writing or by speech. But just think that there is a need that you need to cater at the moment. So in such circumstances, when you need a quick call to action, a quick CTA, then I believe speech is more powerful than a written piece of information or content. Because through speech, you can speak to the heart of the person. You can convince a person very easily. But when it comes to a written piece of content or simply an article or a blog, the reader have to read it and digest it, and then only he or she would go to the call to action. So, considering that, I believe uh, speech is more powerful when it comes to expressing your thoughts compared to a written piece of content or an article.
Yes, I also do believe that speech helps to express your thoughts in a better way. It helps to give the intangible nature of your thoughts to express in a more realistic manner. So moving on, memories are timeless treasures of our heart. When delivering a speech, what do you want your audience to remember as a memory? Simply, what impact do you want to give them at the end of the day?
Well, Sumari, when you ask that question from me, uh, it reminds me of a famous quote by a famous author by Maya Angelou. That is, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you do, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So, as a speaker, I think this is one of the main things that we can have in our mind, because I personally believe that it would be really nice to have a good message delivered to your audience, a take home message for your audience when it comes to public speaking or giving a speech. Because our audience is always investing their time and energy for us. They're looking forward to hear something from us. So whenever I do a speech, I always try to convey a good message, basically to inspire my audience. So with time, you may forget who Gavelier Ramalka or Gavelier, or Toastmaster Ramalka is, but I believe my message would always be there in their hearts, no matter they forget me with time. So I would like to add something which I experienced last year when I did my CC10. Uh, that speech was basically about my university life, where I focused a bit on how I faced a bit of bullying because of the gender, the physical stature, and for being single, and so on. So after telling that speech, I got so many messages from our gaveliers saying, Aki, thank you so much for reciting that speech. Even I can relate to you. And I was also so worried because of these similar instances. So thank you. You gave us hope to face these instances in future, and you gave us courage to face these situations very strongly. So from that moment, I realized that it is very important to give a good message or a core message, inspiring your audience when giving a speech.
That was indeed a very nice and intelligent answer. And I'm quite sure that you have created a remarkable impact on your listeners. As mentioned earlier, I have watched like a lot of speeches given by you, and your confidence, the way you elaborate your thoughts are truly amazing. Like, I'm not telling this because you're on the show today, but that is my honest opinion. So next up, we have a very fun session arranged that is called as Name It. In this game, you'll be bombarded with some simple questions. But the hard part about this is you have to answer it in a matter of seconds. Precisely, you will be only given 1.5 seconds to answer. I know that it's hard. You have to go with the thing that comes into your mind. It can be irrelevant and it might not make any sense. That's totally okay. You just have to give an answer. Don't think too much and go with the flow. Until Ramalka preps up, just a kind reminder to all who is watching. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button, please do to be upgraded with our upcoming videos. And also don't forget to like, comment, and also share this video. Are you up for it, Ramalka?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, name an item you will definitely pack for a vacation.
Vacation. Notebook.
Name something that flies.
A bird.
Name a book you love the most.
Times
Time's
5.
going fast. Name one thing you would like to spend your money on without any second thoughts.
A book, definitely.
Name a reason a person might wake up at 2 in the morning.
To download a movie from the nighttime data.
Name the most stressful thing in your life these days.
Marking reports.
Name a reason you might be late for work.
Getting late to get up.
Name a reason a person might be running.
To catch a bus.
Name a material you might use when building a house.
Cement.
Name something you never leave home without.
My phone.
Name a country starting with the letter B.
Brazil.
Name something that you eat that might roll away if you dropped it on the floor.
A roll.
Name a household chore you hate the most.
No idea. I need to answer that question.
Okay. Name something appealing about working from home.
Staying at home.
Okay. Name something people get in the mail other than letters.
Invitations.
Okay. All right, that's the end of the game. I know you must have been on your toes while answering the question. Nevertheless, it was very fun. I hope you felt the same about that game.
Yes, of course.
This round, I'll be asking you 4 commonly asked questions by young speakers out there. Hopefully, these tips will help them out in some way. So moving on to the question number 1, how do you rehearse your speeches?
Well, that is one common question I hear as you shared Puma now. I would like to start with my motto, that is practice makes you perfect, which is related to rehearsing your speech, because rehearsing is a must. That is something I really believe. So I know now when you write a script and then you go for practicing it, you memorize your content, then you see where you can add vocal variety, where you can add facial expressions, where you need to emphasize certain words, and where to add hand gestures, and whole lot of things. And then only you go to practice your whole speech. So that is basically rehearsing, in my opinion. And also, I would like to say, when rehearsing, you can get the help of your mentors as well, because mentors have more experience than us. So they would help us in getting onto the point, like sharing the best thing. So when I do a speech, when I do rehearse my speech, I would talk to my mentors. So I would like to mention my mentors, as well as I mentioned about mentors. Distinguished Toastmaster Arshad Nizam and now Toastmaster Hashini Silva are my mentors. And my all-time mentor, my mother, who is my timer, grammarian, accountant, and my superb critic when it comes to rehearsing speeches. So why I mentioned about those timer, account, and grammarian, because I even look into those when I'm rehearsing a speech. So you need to look into every aspect of your speech in order to come up with a good speech in show.
So the young speakers out there, make sure that you practice your speeches and take help from your mentors. I'm pretty sure that these tips and tricks will help our viewers to rehearse their speeches much better. Moving on to question number 2. How do you overcome stage fright?
That is also something I see in many people. But first of all, my question, if I was asked that question from a budding speaker, I would say, how do you know that you have stage fear or stage fright? Because then, of course, you need to get onto a stage to see whether you have that stage fear or not. And nowadays, you need to come in front of a screen to see whether you have that fright or not. So answering your question, Pumali, I believe to get over that or to overcome stage fear is by getting onto a stage and doing a speech. That is the only way that you can overcome that fear, because it's something psychological, I believe. Uh, the when you do something that you are fear of, and then trying it out several times, more or less you will be able to overcome that fear. The only way to overcome that is by doing that task, because on stage you are the king, you have the power, not the audience. So after getting onto a stage, why do you need to uh, get frightened? So do more speeches to overcome your stage fear.
To the newbies of public speaking, if you're worried to do your very first speech, don't worry anymore. Get onto the stage and take up the challenge, and you will be able to become a pro in public speaking. So
Exactly.
moving on to question number 3, is there a limit to the number of messages you can give out to the audience when performing a speech?
Now, I think there's no such limit that you need to limit your speech into this much of messages. But we all know that for a speaker, he or she would get only 5 to 7 minutes to tell everything and anything he or she want to convey to the audience. So within that given limited time frame, can a speaker come up with lots of messages? Can the speaker convince the audience with lots of messages? Because at the end of the speech or after the 7 minutes are gone, the audience would ask, okay, this person spoke several things. Actually, what did he or she say? What we can really take out of that? So, therefore, I think to sticking to that time frame, you might not be able to give a lot of messages. So, therefore, go for a core message and then develop the whole story of your speech around that core message. But you can add little sub parts or sub messages that would revolve around your core message when conveying your main message to the audience.
So as Ramalka says, you don't have to cram up your speech by a lot of messages for it to be a good speech. If it has a central idea, a meaningful message, then that's what matters. So guys, next time when you prep up for your speech, make sure to keep these tips and tricks in your mind. Moving on to the 4th question. How do you build content for an impromptu? Like, how would you like to build up the intro, the body, and the conclusion of your speech?
Kind of tough question, because impromptu speaking is also an art. Now, the beauty I see in impromptu speaking is that you are instantly given a topic out of your choice and you need to speak for that topic instantly. So, the trick here is you have to think on your feet, like the game you gave me earlier. So, how you can master the skill of impromptu speaking is the question at hand. Now, that is also how you can do is by doing speeches and gathering lots of knowledge from different sources around you, because sometimes you will be given a topic that you don't know anything about. So so at those instances, what you can do is, if you have that ability, or if you are in the process of mastering that skill, what you can do is you can twist the topic and convey the message to your audience. So as you also asked about the intro, body, and conclusion, I know you are given very few seconds to think about the topic even. So it's quite hard to uh, come up with an intro, body, and conclusion like in a prepared speech. But as a speaker, when you are given a topic, especially when it comes to table topic speeches at Gavel meetings, what you can do is take a few seconds and think what you are going to speak. And that few seconds are so valuable for you to come up with a good impromptu speech?
Sometimes one might be a very good at prepared speeches, but when it comes to the impromptu, the situation might be slightly different. Because in our day-to-day life, there are instances that we have to deliver a speech without any prior rehearsal. But if you follow the tips and tricks given by Ramalka, it won't be a big issue. Well, that marks the end of a very important round of questions. Okay, so finally, are you a believer of public speaking being a skill that can be developed? Or do you believe that public speaking is an inbuilt talent? Please share your views and enlighten us with something that is useful along the way too.
Well, quite interesting question, Pumali. Now, there can be speakers with inborn talent. But do you think having that inborn talent can make you a pro in public speaking? That is not something I believe, because not only having that inborn talent, you need to have the passion, dedication, and that inner enthusiasm inside you that would take you to the pinnacle you want to reach in public speaking. So for that, even without having an inborn talent, you can work for it, you can strive for it. As I mentioned earlier, rehearse and practice, because practice makes you perfect. Sometimes you may fail at your first or second attempt. Maybe you may fail at your 10th attempt even, but you don't have to worry, because there are 1,000 and more attempts and opportunities all around open for you. So why not give it a try? So don't worry if you do not have an inborn talent, because you can strive for it and work hard to gain what you want. If you want it, yes, please go for it. If you want to do a speech at the next Gavel meeting, of course, surely ask for it and go for it. Go for it, because that is how you can reach your goal and reach the pinnacle and become a pro in any area or path that you want to achieve in life. So for that question, I would like to sum up in this way: grab every opportunity that you get in life, and that is how you can channel your passions to reach the desired goal or the desired destination that you want to reach in your life.
Well, I should say that that was a very nice answer, because I also had this problem. Like when I look at the public speakers, including you, I always had this problem whether they had always been so good. But your answer reassured me, and I'm sure that it is the same for our viewers who would like to develop their skills in public speaking. We have come to the end of this inspiring session, and listening to you has revitalized us. As the saying goes, you only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. The fact that you have tried so many different things in life makes me realize that if I never try, I'll never know, and in the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. So as a lesson for me, so a lesson for me and all of you out there: you only get one life. Don't be afraid to get out there. Do what you want and make sure it matters. On behalf of the Gavel Club of the University of Colombo, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to you, Ramalka. We wish you the very best of the life.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed this program.
Once again, thank you so much for being on the show, and I hope that you enjoyed being here today as much as we did. So this is Pumali Samarakon signing off with the Journey Hotline crew. I hope to see you soon with another episode made inspiring by people who speak out and make their mark. Stay tuned with us to find out who our next eminent personality will be. Until then, carpe diem. Seize the day, people. Make your lives extraordinary. Thank you, stay safe, and goodbye.